Finally, in terms of the issue of good faith of the intelligence community leaders and our elected officials, of course, we mentioned last week and we mentioned before the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, it appears lied under oath to Congress about these programs, claiming earlier in response to a question by a Democratic Senator from Oregon, Ron Wyden, that the government was not collecting data on millions of Americans. He then walked that back, of course, not exactly, but essentially he lied to Congress. Here was General Keith Alexander from National Security Agency, once again speaking to Congress in response to a question by Congressman Mike Rogers, he's the chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, essentially saying that the government does not have the authority to wiretap anybody without a warrant exactly. Listen carefully to what he had to say.
Is the NSA have the ability to listen to Americans' phone calls or read their emails under these two programs?
No, we do not have that authority.
Of course, as Shep Smith pointed out on Fox News, the question was whether the NSA has the ability to listen to the actual data, the actual content of the emails, or the content of the phone calls themselves, not whether they have the authority to do it. And of course, the NSA chief skirted the answer by giving another answer by saying that they don't have the authority, not saying whether they have the ability or not. Now, I don't know whether they have the ability or not. I suspect that they might, but the fact of the matter is that when you have James Clapper lying to Congress, the Director of National Intelligence, and now General Keith Alexander, the head of the National Security Agency, skirting an answer, and you have a member of Congress who's supposedly in charge of the oversight, not holding him to it, then it doesn't inspire confidence in the good faith of our leaders that we can trust them to at least be honest with us about the things that are going on in this country. And I would say that this also points to the things that Edward Snowden pointed out in his Q&A with The Guardian earlier, which is that authority, matters of policy, have nothing to do with ability, once again. And I would also point out that if the issue here, in terms of the actual leaker himself, is that he compromised our security, of which there is absolutely no evidence whatsoever, then all of these responses are only validating his need to have exposed this, because they're telling us that we can't trust our elected leaders to be transparent with us. We can't trust our elected leaders to conduct oversight on the intelligence agencies. And even President Obama admitting that he's now going to engage in these reforms, as tepid as they may seem, of declassifying more information where possible, and appointing the Civil Liberties Board, are essentially saying this man, Edward Snowden, did a public service, that he has opened this debate, that he has made the system more transparent, that he has made the system better, that elected officials are responding to it, and yet now they're bringing the hammer down on the law against him. He's the seventh leaker that the Obama administration is pursuing, and pursuing it under the Espionage Act, which, as Glenn Greenwald points out, is dubious given that he's not sold these secrets to a foreign government. You decide, but I think this is shameful stuff and only vindicating Snowden further, regardless of what you think of the policy merits of these particular NSA programs. We're going to be following this debate closely and keeping you updated. When Take Action News continues, we're going to talk to Dave Zirin about some of the social unrest in Brazil ahead of the 2014 World Cup. You're going to want to see this, so stay tuned.